The moment Aunt Regina announced my layoff to the entire baby shower, I knew exactly how this afternoon would end. Not with tears, not with a scene, but with the satisfying click of a phone recording being stopped. My name is Layla, and I've spent the last 28 years being the family disappointment. Today, watching my aunt's perfectly lined lips curl into a smirk as she delivered the news of my professional failure to a room full of pastel-dressed women, I didn't flinch. I'd been expecting something like this since I walked through the door of her McMansion, carrying a gift I couldn't afford. "Oh, didn't everyone hear?" Regina's voice carried across the decorated living room. Our Layla was let go from her little design job. Such a shame, really. The room grew quiet, except for the clink of champagne glasses and my stepsister Mila's theatrical gasp. "Maybe she can babysit for Bridget when the baby comes," Mila chimed in, her voice dripping with fake concern. "You know, since she'll have so much free time now." Polite laughter rippled through the room. I kept my face neutral, took a sip of sparkling water, and watched my cousin Bridget, the mom-to-be, pretend to look sympathetic while practically glowing with satisfaction. "Actually," I said, my voice steady, "I'd love to hear more about your charity work, Aunt Regina. The one you were telling me about last month, when you called asking for that loan?" Regina's smile flickered for just a second. "Oh, darling, what an imagination you have." "Layla's always been dramatic," my stepmother, Eva, cut in, patting my arm with cold fingers. "Remember when she refused to be in the family Christmas card last year?" I did remember. I also remembered the text message Eva sent afterward. "Your father and I think it's best if you skip the holiday dinner too. We wouldn't want any tension." The party continued around me like a pastel tornado of gift opening and forced enthusiasm. Bridget cooed over each onesie and baby blanket, while Regina orchestrated the whole show, making sure everyone could see just how generous and loving our family was. "Open mine next," Mila practically squealed, handing over an enormous box wrapped in designer paper. "Oh my God," Bridget gasped, pulling out a ridiculously expensive baby carrier. "This must have cost a fortune." "Only the best for my favourite cousin," Mila said, shooting me a look. I glanced down at my own modest gift, still sitting unopened in the corner. The handmade mobile had taken me weeks to design and craft, back when I still had access to my office's laser cutter. Now it just looked sad and small compared to everyone else's expensive offerings. "Layla, sweetie," Regina called out. "Didn't you bring something for the baby?" Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. A notification from my banking app. Regina's loan request from last month was still pending. The same loan she now pretended never happened. I smiled. "Of course I did, Aunt Regina. But maybe we should wait to open it. After all, we wouldn't want to overshadow Mila's generous gift. Speaking of generosity, how is that investment partnership with Quincy working out?" Regina's face went white. My stepmother's head snapped up. Even Bridget stopped mid-unwrap. "I don't know what you're talking about," Regina said quickly. "Too quickly?" "No." I stood up, smoothing my thrift store dress. "That's strange, because I have the most interesting voicemail from you about it. Would everyone like to hear?" "Layla," my father's voice came from somewhere behind me, warning in his tone, always ready to defend everyone but me. I reached for my phone, watching Regina's perfectly manicured hands begin to shake. "What's wrong, Aunt Regina? You look like you've seen a ghost. Or maybe just your own karma." The room had gone completely silent now. Even the baby shower games coordinator looked uncomfortable. "I think," Regina said, her voice tight, "it might be best if you leave." I smiled, the same calm smile I'd been practicing for months. "Oh, I will. But first, let's talk about what really happened to my mother's estate after she died. Or should we start with the Charity Foundation's missing funds?" Regina lunged for her purse, probably reaching for her own phone, but I already had mine out, thumb hovering over the play button. "What they don't know," I thought, watching panic spread across my aunt's face, "is that I've been recording things too. And unlike them, I've got receipts for days." The best part about revenge, I was about to learn, isn't the planning or even the execution. It's that perfect moment when your tormentors realize they've finally, spectacularly, underestimated you for the last time. 2 months earlier, I sat at the kids' table during our monthly family brunch, pushing eggs around my plate while watching the real family pose for photos. The irony of being 28 and relegated to dining with tweens wasn't lost on me. "Layla, honey," Eva called out, her voice syrupy sweet. "Would you mind taking the family photo?" I looked up from my phone, where I'd been secretly recording the entire brunch. "Family photo? Sure. Should I be in it too?" "Oh." Ava exchanged glances with Regina. "Well, this is more for the immediate family. You understand." Immediate family, right, because my father's second wife and her daughter somehow counted more than his actual child. I stood up, taking Ava's phone. Through the screen, I watched them arrange themselves. Dad in the centre, Eva clutching his arm, Mila beside them, Regina and Bridget completing the perfect family portrait. Click. "Beautiful," I said, handing the phone back. Really captured the authenticity. As they dispersed, I noticed Regina pulling my father aside, her voice dropping to an urgent whisper. I pretended to be fascinated by my coffee cup, while hitting record on my phone again. "Hector, please," Regina was saying. "It's just a small loan. 10,000, 15, tops." "Regina, we've discussed this," Dad sighed. "The investment with Quincy was your choice. I warned you." "It wasn't just my choice," Regina hissed. "You know what's at stake here. If this gets out..." "Is everything okay?" Eva appeared, touching Dad's arm possessively. Regina straightened up, her face transforming into its usual mask of superiority. "Just discussing the charity gala next month. You'll be there, won't you, Layla?" I looked up, surprised to be acknowledged. "Wouldn't miss it, especially since you're partnering with that exciting new foundation. What was it called again?" Regina's smile tightened. "You wouldn't understand the complexities of philanthropic work, dear. Still doing your little computer drawings?" "Graphic design," I corrected. "And yes, still paying my own bills, unlike some people." Later that night, my phone lit up with a Facebook message from Regina. "Layla, I know we've had our differences, but I need your help. Can you loan me some money? It's an emergency. I'll pay you back double." I stared at the message, then played back the recording from brunch. The same aunt who'd been begging my father for cash was now hitting me up? Interesting. The next morning, my voicemail filled with Regina's increasingly desperate messages. "Layla, please call me back. I know you have savings. This is important. 10,000. That's all I need. Think of it as an investment. If you tell anyone about this, you'll regret it. We're family. We handle things internally. I saved every message, every text, each one more frantic than the last. Then I started digging into Regina's charity work. It didn't take long to find the connection to Quincy O'Connor, a man known for helping wealthy socialites hide money through fake charitable foundations. At work, I used my lunch break to create a detailed spreadsheet of dates, amounts, and suspicious transfers. But before I could dig deeper, my boss called me into her office. "Layla," she said, not meeting my eyes, "we need to discuss some organizational changes." That evening, I sat in my apartment, surrounded by printouts of Regina's financial records and my own termination papers. My phone buzzed with a text from Mila. "Heard about your job. Tough break. Maybe if you networked more instead of playing detective." I froze. How did she know? Unless... Another text arrived, this time from Regina. "I'd keep your little suspicions to yourself. You've never been part of this family. Don't try starting now." I leaned back, letting out a laugh that surprised even me. They thought they were threatening me. After years of exclusion, subtle jabs, and outright cruelty, they still didn't get it. I had nothing left to lose. I opened my laptop and started typing. "Dear Mr. O'Connor, I believe we have some mutual interests to discuss regarding the Young Family Foundation." My phone rang. Regina again. I let it go to voicemail, adding another recording to my growing collection. Let them think they'd scared me into silence. Let them believe I was just the family failure, too broke and powerless to fight back. I picked up my mother's old journal from my bedside table, running my fingers over her handwriting. "Sometimes," she'd written, "the quietest person in the room is the most dangerous." Mom had been right about so many things. And soon, very soon, Everyone would know exactly how right she'd been about Regina. The HR director's voice was apologetic, but firm through my phone speaker. We're implementing company-wide restructuring, Layla. Your position has been eliminated, effective immediately. I sat in my car, parked outside my father's house, listening to the details of my severance package. 2 weeks' pay, health insurance through the end of the month, the usual corporate goodbye gift. Of course, I said, my voice steady. I understand completely. What I understood was that Regina's reach extended further than I'd imagined. The timing was too perfect to be coincidence. I walked up to my father's front door, determined to finally have an honest conversation with him. Eva answered instead, wearing her signature look of polite disdain. Layla, we weren't expecting you. Is Dad home? She gestured toward his study, where I found him buried in paperwork. He barely looked up when I entered. Dad, I need to talk to you about something important. Can it wait? I'm dealing with some foundation issues. I lost my job today. That got his attention. He finally met my eyes, but his expression was more annoyed than concerned. These things happen, sweetheart. Have you been keeping your skills current? Dad, I think Regina had something to do with it. He sighed, putting down his pen. Not this again. Your aunt is going through a difficult time. She doesn't have time to meddle in your career. A difficult time? I pulled out my phone. You mean like this? I played one of Regina's voicemails. Hector can't know about the missing money. Quincy promised he could cover it up, but we need more funds. Dad's face darkened. Where did you get that? She's been calling me for weeks, begging for money. Did you know she's working with Quincy O'Connor? That's enough. He stood up abruptly. Regina's business dealings are none of your concern, and recording private conversations? That's a new low, even for you. Even for me, I laughed. What about the charity fraud, the missing donations? Does any of that matter? You don't understand how these things work, he said, his voice dropping. Sometimes maintaining appearances is more important than what? The truth? Eva appeared in the doorway. Is everything all right? Bridget's baby shower planning committee is meeting here in 20 minutes. Dad straightened his tie. We're done here. Layla, I suggest you focus on finding a new job instead of creating drama. I walked out, my hands shaking. In my car, I pulled up the email I'd received that morning from Quincy O'Connor himself. Ms. Blair, your aunt's foundation is none of your business. However, if you're interested in discussing matters further, perhaps we could meet. Below that was another email, this one from an anonymous account. Look into Regina Young's real estate holdings, specifically the Walker Street property. Follow the money. I drove to Walker Street, a rundown area where Regina's charity claimed to be building affordable housing. The lot was empty, except for a weather-beaten sign announcing future home of Young Family Foundation Community Center. My phone buzzed with a text from Bridget. Heard you got fired. Don't worry, I'm sure someone will hire you for entry-level work. BTW, you're still coming to my shower, right? Gifts minimum $200. I took a photo of the empty lot, then started researching property records. The community center had received over $2 million in donations. The building permits were all fake. Another text arrived, this time from Regina. Stay away from Walker Street. Last warning. I smiled, saving the message. Then I called the number Quincy had provided. Mr. O'Connor's office. This is Layla Blair. Tell him I have proof of the Walker Street fraud, and I'm happy to share it with the IRS, unless he wants to talk. There was a pause. Hold, please. Quincy's voice came on the line, smooth as oil. Miss Blair, I wondered when you'd call. Shall we discuss this over coffee? No coffee, just answers. How long have you been helping my aunt launder money? He chuckled. Straight to the point. Like mother, like daughter? I froze. What do you know about my mother? More than you'd think. Tell me, did they ever explain exactly how she died? The line went dead. I sat in my car, staring at the empty lot where millions of donated dollars had vanished. My mother's death had always been attributed to an accidental overdose of anxiety medication. But now? My phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number. Your mother was asking the same questions before she died. Be careful who you trust. The baby shower was in 3 days. I had work to do. The attic of my childhood home smelled like dust and secrets. I hadn't been up here since before Mum died, but Quincy's words kept echoing in my head. I needed answers. "What are you doing up there?" Eva's voice carried from below. "Just looking for some old photos," I called back. "For Bridget's shower. Don't make a mess, and be quick about it. I have a committee meeting in an hour." I waited until her heels clicked away before pulling out my phone's flashlight. Mum's old chest sat in the corner, covered in cobwebs. The lock was still intact. Dad had never bothered to open it after she died. Thank God for YouTube lock-picking tutorials. 10 minutes later, I lifted the lid. The smell of her perfume, faint but present, made my throat tight. Inside were stacks of papers, old journals, and a manila envelope marked Regina, Evidence. "Oh my God," I whispered, pulling out the first journal. The entry was dated 3 months before her death. "Regina's been pressuring Hector about the trust fund again. Says she needs access for her new foundation. I've tried warning him about Quincy, but he won't listen. Someone needs to stop them before it's too late." I flipped through more pages. Found discrepancies in Regina's charity accounts, millions missing. When I confronted her, she laughed, said no one would believe the unstable sister-in-law. Eva's involved somehow? Caught her shredding documents in Hector's study? They don't know I made copies. The last entry made my blood run cold. "Regina threatened me today. Said accidents happen to people who ask too many questions. I've hidden the proof in the old beach house. If anything happens to me..." The entry stopped mid-sentence. My phone buzzed. A text from Regina. "Eva says you're snooping in the attic. Careful what you dig up." I quickly photographed every page, then reached for the manila envelope. Inside were bank statements, property records, and photos. One showed Regina meeting with Quincy outside a bank. Another captured Eva handling a briefcase in a parking garage. "Layla?" Dad's voice startled me. He stood at the attic entrance. "What are you doing with your mother's things?" I held up the photos. "Maybe you can explain these?" He climbed up, face pale as he looked at the images. "Where did you get those?" "Mum took them, before her accidental overdose." "Don't." His voice cracked. "Don't go there." "Why not? Because Regina's your precious sister? Because Eva's your perfect wife? Or because you knew what they were doing and looked the other way?" "You don't understand." "Mum understood. That's why she died, isn't it?" He grabbed the photos. "Your mother was troubled. She imagined conspiracies everywhere." "Really?" I pulled out my phone, played Regina's voicemail about the missing money. Was she imagining this too? Dad sank onto an old trunk. "Regina made some mistakes, bad investments, but she's family. Mum was family too. Layla, please." He looked older suddenly, defeated. "Let it go, for everyone's sake." "Like you let Mum go?" He flinched. I grabbed the journal and envelope, backing away. "The charity fraud, the threats, Mum's death, it's all connected, and I'm going to prove it." "You'll destroy this family." "No, Dad. They already did that." Downstairs, Eva was waiting. "Find what you were looking for?" I clutched Mum's journal to my chest. "Actually, yes." My phone buzzed again. "Quincy. Meet me tomorrow, noon. I'll tell you everything about your mother." Eva's eyes narrowed at the journal. "That belongs to the family." "You're right," I said, walking past her. "It belongs to my real family." Outside, I sat in my car, hands shaking as I read more entries. Mum had documented everything. The fake charities, the laundered money, Regina's partnership with Quincy. She'd been building a case, preparing to expose them all. Then she'd, accidentally, taken too many pills. Another text arrived, anonymous. "Your mother left something at the beach house. 3rd floorboard from the window. Get it before they do." I started the car. The beach house was an hour away, abandoned since Mum's death. Dad had never sold it, claiming too many memories. Or maybe he was afraid of what someone might find there. Regina's voice played from my latest recording. "I'd keep your little suspicions to yourself." I smiled, thinking of the baby shower in 2 days. "Don't worry, Aunt Regina. I won't keep them to myself. I'll share them with everyone." The beach house waited, holding one last secret. And this time, I wouldn't let them bury the truth along with it. Layla? I nearly dropped my coffee. That voice. I hadn't heard it in 2 years, not since our messy breakup. But there was Milo, standing in the bookstore cafe, looking exactly the same except for a new tech startup guy beard. Of all the coffee shops in all the world, I said, trying to sound casual while clutching Mom's journal under my arm. You look... He paused. Stressed. That obvious? I always could read you. He gestured to the empty chair across from me. Mind if I? I hesitated, then nodded. Milo had been the one person who'd seen through my family's perfect facade. Maybe that's why they'd worked so hard to drive him away. Still doing tech security consulting? I asked. Yeah, actually, just finished a job tracking financial fraud for a big charity foundation. He smiled. Funny coincidence. It involved someone you might know. Quincy O'Connor. My coffee cup froze halfway to my mouth. What do you know about Quincy? Enough to know he's meeting you at noon. At my shocked look, he added, I may have been monitoring his communications. Professionally, of course. Of course. I leaned forward. Milo, what's his connection to my aunt? Better question. What was his connection to your mum? I pulled out the journal, showed him the entries. His eyes widened as he read. Holy shit, Layla. This is bigger than charity fraud. This is... Murder? I finished quietly. He ran a hand through his hair. You can't meet Quincy alone. He's dangerous. I need answers. Then let me help. He pulled out his laptop. I've been building a case against him for months. Look at this. He showed me financial records, property transfers, shell companies, all connecting Regina, Quincy, and Eva to millions in stolen charitable donations. The Walker Street property? I asked. Just the tip of the iceberg. They've been running this scam for years. Started right around the time your mum died. My phone buzzed. Regina. Changed my mind about that loan. Name your price. They're getting nervous, Milo said, reading over my shoulder. Good. I have to go to the beach house, I told him. Mom left something there. I'm coming with you. Milo? Look, I'm sorry I walked away before. I let them intimidate me. But I'm not leaving you alone in this. An hour later, we stood in my mother's dusty beach house. The third floorboard came up easily, revealing a USB drive and a sealed envelope. It's encrypted, Milo said, examining the drive. Give me an hour. While he worked, I opened the envelope. Inside was a letter. My dearest Layla, if you're reading this, they finally silenced me, but they couldn't erase the evidence. Everything's here. The fake charities, the stolen money, and the truth about Regina and Quincy's partnership. Eva helped them cover it up, convinced your father I was paranoid. Maybe I was, but I was also right. The drive contains proof. Bank records, recordings, photos. Enough to destroy them all. I'm trusting you to finish what I started. Be careful. Be brave. Be smarter than I was. All my love, Mum. Got it, Milo called out. Layla, you need to see this. His laptop showed dozens of files, videos of Regina and Quincy planning their schemes, evidence of forged documents, and one final video, security footage from the night my mother died. I can't watch this, I whispered. Milo squeezed my hand. You don't have to, but now we have everything we need. My phone lit up. Quincy. Where are you? Meeting started 30 minutes ago. Then Regina. Whatever he's offering, I'll double it. Perfect, Milo said. They're turning on each other. The baby shower's tomorrow. He looked at me. You sure you want to do it there? In front of everyone? That's exactly where it needs to happen. They humiliated my mother, drove her to her death, then acted like nothing happened. Okay. He started copying files. I'll create a presentation they'll never forget. Why are you helping me? He paused. Because 2 years ago, I walked away when you needed me. I won't make that mistake again. My phone buzzed one more time. Ava, your father's very disappointed in your behaviour. Last chance to drop this nonsense. I looked at Milo, at Mum's letter, at the evidence spread across his laptop screen. Tell Dad not to worry, I texted back. Tomorrow, everyone will finally see the truth. Hope you all got Bridget something nice for the shower. I know I did. Ready? Milo asked. I nodded. picking up Mum's journal. Time to give my family the surprise party they deserve. Everything's loaded on your phone, Milo said, handing me back my device. One tap, and it'll all stream to the smart TV at Regina's house. We sat in his car outside a coffee shop, hours before the baby shower. I scrolled through the files, Mum's videos, Regina's voicemails, the security footage, bank records, all organised into a devastating presentation. "You sure about this?" he asked. "Watch this," I said, dialing Regina's number on speaker. "Layla, I was just thinking about you." Her voice dripped honey. "About that loan you mentioned?" "Save it. I'm calling about Mum's beach house visit the night she died." Silence. Then, "I don't know what you're talking about." "No? The security cameras remember. So does Quincy." "He contacted you?" Sharp edge to her voice now. "He showed me everything, Regina. The fake charities, the money laundering, the threats against Mum. Whatever he told you." "I'm giving you one chance. Confess at the shower, return the money, or everyone sees the footage." She laughed, but it sounded forced. "You're bluffing. Check your email." I heard her sharp intake of breath as she opened the clip I'd sent, just enough to prove I had it all. "You little bitch," she whispered. "See you at the shower, Aunt Regina. Don't forget my gift." I hung up. My phone immediately lit up with texts. "Eva, stop this nonsense immediately. Mila. You're pathetic. Dad, we need to talk. Bridget, don't you dare ruin my shower." "They're scared," Milo observed. "Good." I checked my makeup in the mirror. "They should be. I'll be parked outside if you need me." "Actually," I hesitated. "Would you come in with me?" He smiled. "Try to stop me." We arrived at Regina's house just as the party was starting. Eva's eyes narrowed when she saw Milo. "This is a family event," she said. "Perfect," I replied, "because we're about to have a real family discussion." Inside, Regina was holding court, directing caterers and fawning over Bridget. She froze when she saw me. "Layla, and Milo, how unexpected." "Wouldn't miss it," I said, setting my gift, a simple USB drive wrapped in baby paper, on the table. Milo connected his laptop to the TV while I circulated, recording every conversation on my phone. Regina kept watching me, her smile growing more strained by the minute. "Present time," Bridget announced, clapping her hands. I watched them open gift after gift. Designer clothes, expensive toys, each one accompanied by Regina's running commentary about the giver's generosity. "Layla's next," Mila said sweetly, "though I'm not sure how much she could afford, being unemployed and all." The room tittered. I stood up. "Actually, my gift is for everyone." I nodded to Milo. "Especially you, Aunt Regina." "This isn't the time," Dad started. "It's exactly the time." I faced the room. "Did you know my mum tried to expose a charity fraud scheme right before she died? Regina, why don't you tell everyone about the Walker Street property?" Regina's face went white. "Layla, don't." "No? Then let's watch this instead." Milo hit play. The TV lit up with security footage, Regina and Quincy counting money in her office, Eva shredding documents, Mum confronting them all. "Turn it off!" Regina lunged for the TV. "Can't," Milo said. "It's streaming live to several news outlets." The room erupted. Bridget started crying. Eva grabbed her phone. Dad just sat there, head in his hands. "That's not all," I announced, my voice carrying over the chaos. "Mum left evidence about everything, including the night she died." "You're lying," Regina snarled. I played her voicemail. 10,000. That's all I need. Think of it as an investment." Then another. "If you tell anyone about this, you'll regret it." And finally, the security footage from the beach house, showing Regina and Eva entering the night Mom died. "The police have copies," Milo added. "They're very interested in the timing of your visit and her accidental overdose." Sirens wailed in the distance. Regina grabbed her purse, but Milo blocked the door. "Going somewhere, Aunt Regina, but we haven't even had cake." The first police car pulled up outside. I watched my family's perfect facade crumble in real time. "Layla," Dad pleaded, "she's still your aunt." "No." I picked up Mum's journal. She's the woman who killed my mother, and now everyone knows it. The doorbell rang. Regina started to cry. I smiled, the same calm smile I'd been practicing for months. Best baby shower ever, don't you think? The police officers entered Regina's perfect home, disrupting her perfect party, and my perfect revenge snapped into place like the last piece of a puzzle. Regina Young? The lead detective held up his badge. We have some questions about the Young Family Foundation and the death of Lillian Blair. Regina's mascara was running, but she still tried to maintain control. This is ridiculous. We're having a baby shower. Actually, I stepped forward. We're having a long overdue family meeting. Detective, I have something you should see. I handed him Mum's journal and the USB drive. There's evidence of charity fraud, money laundering, and... I looked directly at Regina. Premeditated murder. You can't prove anything, Eva cut in, but her voice shook. The security footage proves everything, Milo said, pulling up the beach house video. Watch this part carefully, Detective. The footage showed Regina and Eva entering Mum's beach house at 11:42 p.m. They left at 12:37 a.m. Mum was found dead the next morning. That proves nothing, Regina snapped. We were checking on her. Really? I played another recording. Regina's voice filled the room. She knows too much. We need to handle this tonight. The detective took notes while Regina's face crumpled. Bridget had collapsed onto the couch, her baby shower gifts scattered around her like evidence at a crime scene. Mrs. Young, we'll need you to come down to the station, the detective said. Wait! Regina's voice turned desperate. Layla, please, I'll tell you everything. I'll give you money, whatever you want. I walked up to her, close enough to smell her expensive perfume. I want my mother back. It wasn't supposed to happen like that, she whispered. She was just supposed to take enough to sleep, to forget what she'd found. We didn't mean to kill her, I finished. Just like you didn't mean to get me fired, to isolate me from my family, to steal millions from charity. Ava tried to reach for her phone, but Milo intercepted it. Looking for Quincy? He's already at the station. Turns out he doesn't handle pressure well. Hector? Eva pleaded with my father. Do something. Dad finally stood up. For a moment, I thought he might defend them again. Instead, he walked over and picked up Mum's journal. I should have believed her, he said quietly. I'm sorry, Layla. Regina made one last attempt. Everything I did for this family. The foundation helped people. The foundation stole from people, I corrected. Just like you stole my mother from me. The detective moved to handcuff Regina. She thrashed, suddenly hysterical. You ungrateful little bitch. After everything I did for you, what you did for me. I laughed. Let's list it. You murdered my mother, gaslit my father, stole millions, got me fired, excluded me from every family event. And then, I gestured around the room. You mocked me at your daughter's baby shower. Speaking of which, Milo added, everything's still streaming live. Your charity donors are getting quite a show. Regina's scream of rage was cut short by the detective reading her rights. Eva was handcuffed next, still trying to maintain her dignity. You'll regret this, she hissed as they led her out. Not as much as you will, I replied. Mila tried to slip away, but I caught her arm. Don't forget your part in this. The recordings of you helping them cover it up. The IRS will be very interested. The baby shower guests fled like rats from a sinking ship. Bridget sat alone, mascara streaked, surrounded by expensive gifts bought with stolen money. Did you know? I asked her. She shook her head. Not everything, just pieces. I didn't want to know more. Well, now everyone knows. Dad touched my shoulder. Layla, I don't know how to make this right. You can't. I shrugged off his hand. But you can start by telling the police everything you remember about Mum's last days. He nodded, following the detective out. Milo and I stood in the wreckage of the party. Pastel decorations hung limply, the welcome baby banner now seeming darkly ironic. Want to get out of here? He asked. 1 second. I walked over to the gift table and picked up the mobile I'd made. For the baby, I told Bridget. It's not bought with stolen money, so it might be the only gift you get to keep. She took it, hands trembling. I'm sorry about everything. Me too. I turned to leave, then looked back. Oh, and Bridget? Don't name the baby after Regina. Prison visits are hell on a newborn's schedule. Outside, police lights painted the perfect suburban street in red and blue. Neighbours watched from behind curtains as Regina and Eva were driven away. Ready? Milo asked. I took one last look at the house where my family's secrets had finally unravelled. Yeah, let's go get cake somewhere else. The morning newspaper headline read, Socialite sisters charged in multi-million-dollar charity fraud connected to cold case death. Regina's mugshot didn't look quite as polished as her usual society page photos. My phone hadn't stopped buzzing since the baby shower. Texts from distant relatives claiming they always knew something was wrong. Messages from Regina's charity donors demanding answers. Reporters wanting interviews. I ignored them all and drove to the cemetery instead. Hey, Mum, I said, placing fresh flowers on her grave. We did it. They can't hurt anyone else now. Thought I'd find you here. Milo's voice came from behind me. He held up 2 coffee cups. Brought reinforcements. Thanks. I took a sip. The detective called. Quincy's talking. A lot. I heard. The DA's offering him a deal in exchange for testimony about the night your mum died. A text lit up my phone. Bridget. They're seizing all the foundation's assets. Dad left. Everything's falling apart. Good, I said. But the victory felt hollow somehow. Having second thoughts? Milo asked. No, just... I touched Mum's headstone. Wish she could see this. She can. Through you. Another text buzzed. Dad this time. I'm at the beach house. Please come. Need to show you something. Want backup? Milo offered. I shook my head. This one I need to do alone. The beach house looked different in daylight. Less haunted. Dad waited on the porch, holding a cardboard box. Found these while cleaning out my office, he said as I approached. Your mother's photos. The real ones, not the ones Regina made us display. Inside the box were hundreds of pictures. Mom and me at the beach. Family picnics before Eva. My first art show, Mom beaming with pride. I was a coward, Dad said quietly. I let them convince me she was unstable. Let them erase her bit by bit. Then I let them do the same to you. Why? Because believing the lie was easier than facing the truth. He pulled out one last photo. Mom and Regina as young girls, smiling, arms linked. I never understood what changed Regina, why she became so... evil? Broken. He sighed. The detective found evidence that she'd been embezzling long before your mother discovered it. The foundation was just her biggest scheme. My phone buzzed again. The detective. Quincy confirmed everything. Eva and Regina will be charged with first-degree murder. They're going to prison, I told Dad. For a long time. He nodded. Good. Then, I've stepped down from the company board. Selling the house too. Think I need a fresh start. What about Ava's daughter? Mila's fled to Europe. Probably wise, given the federal investigation. We stood in silence, watching waves crash against the shore. Finally, Dad spoke again. I know I can't fix this. Can't make up for failing you and your mother. But I'd like to try, if you'll let me. I thought about Mum's journal entry. Hector's not evil, just weak. Sometimes that's worse. We can start with lunch, I said. Small steps. He smiled, relieved. Small steps. My phone lit up with a news alert. Young Family Foundation Donors File Class Action Lawsuit. Below it was a text from Bridget. Had the baby. Named her Lillian. Hope that's okay. I showed Dad the text. His eyes got wet. Life's weird, I said. 1 minute you're plotting revenge at a baby shower, the next you're a sort of aunt. Your mother would have loved that. He picked up the box of photos. Want to get coffee? Look through these properly? Actually, I glanced at my phone. Milo's waiting, but maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow, he agreed. Small steps. Driving back to the city, I passed Regina's now empty house. The welcome baby banner still hung limply, a pastel ghost of last week's implosion. Milo waited at our usual coffee shop, laptop open. How'd it go? Better than expected. I sat down. What are you working on? Job listings. Several tech firms are interested in your design skills, especially after that presentation you put together. I laughed. Revenge. The ultimate portfolio piece. Speaking of, he turned the laptop toward me. Remember that mobile app you designed? The one Regina said would never work? 3 companies want to develop it? My phone buzzed one last time. An email from Mum's old account scheduled decades ago. My dearest Layla, if you're reading this, you've finally uncovered the truth. Remember, justice isn't about destruction, it's about reconstruction. Build something beautiful from these ashes. All my love, Mom. I looked at Milo, at the job listings, at the future stretching out ahead. Ready to build something new? He asked. I closed Mom's email and opened a blank document. Actually, I said, I think I already have.